What's up, everybody? I'm your boy Gary Rogers, hosting X Games Real Street Best Trick. Not like the 60-second thing. We got one trick by 10 amazing dudes that was like, yo, I got something for you. It might blow your head off. It might not excite you at all. You might not like it, but I guarantee you might, for real. All right? So since the world is canceled and America can't go nowhere because every other country said, no, y'all don't listen to stay in the house, we had to like just, well, you know, practice social distancing, people be by themselves, and get some amazing stuff. So if you're ready, let's meet the skaters.
The skateboarders look at the streets completely different than anybody else. They're constantly scanning architecture and their surroundings. What could you do on that? How could I skate that?
Everything I see is just skateboarding.
The world is our skate park. If there's concrete, we can go skate.
There's a history of landmark spots that every skateboarder in the world knows.
For the rest of my life, all these tricks and all these spots are ingrained in my mind.
That's what makes the impossible possible, is if you can dream it and you're willing to go through the pain and the punishment of trying to get it, it solidifies history, skate history, by, you know, these tricks that have been done.
So that bunch is a treat, right? Okay? I said 10 top dudes and you thought I was playing with you. I'm not playing with you. We got all the amazings pulling out, and they're right. Skateboarding is done in the streets. So you met them? Let's go. Let's start off with Clive Dixon. Just please breathe when you're watching this, because this dude has lost his mind.
Clive Dixon is gnarly. He's willing to put it on the line 100% of the time.
He loves the danger. He loves to go big.
I'll expect Clive to really be doing something in the life or death category.
So we went to, a few different things. You know, we went to Hollywood High first, and he did like a technical trick on a 12-stair rail. Like, a 12-stair rail is still gnarly. When we watched the footage that night, I just really wasn't content, and I just decided that that was not what I wanted to submit as my trick, and there were a couple days left in the contest. And so we went and checked this curved 24-stair rail. There were some problems with the rail. We fixed the spot. I started skating it and realized that it just wasn't working with the angles.
And then we went to that 25-stair rail, which Clive skated before, got the Thrasher cover.
So the spot, first off, just looks epic. It almost looks like Coliseum seating with a massive rail coming down. It's 25 stairs, so the rail is extremely long, is taller than a normal rail, and on this side, 20-foot drop from the top. Only basic tricks have been done because there's no grass on the side, there's no playing with it, there's no toying with it. It's first try. You have to make it to the end of the rail. There was a whole lot of pressure. It was the last day for the contest. I was even so nervous the morning before we went there, I threw up. I never do that. The two worst case scenarios that could have happened: clip my axle on the way up and fall over 20 feet, or be a little too hyped, slip over into a lip slide and sack the rail, which is exactly what happened to me on the first try. Pretty much the adrenaline kicked in and knew that it was now or never.
Dude, how did I get out of that?
He lip slid it before, and the difference between a lip slide and a Smith grind is pretty significant. Like, with a lip slide, you get that much of your board to aim at the rail. With a Smith grind, you got like 20 millimeters of wheel hanging down that you have to catch on the rail. Like, it's do or die at that point.
Not only do I need to get on this rail again, make it to the end, but I need to come off and be going perfectly straight. Because if you come off to the left at the slightest bit, you're gonna hit the curb and be jarred. This is the last thing I want to be thinking about after going down this huge rail. And so that was the last kind of mental test. It sets your body into a gear that you normally don't get into. It's like fight or flight at that point. Over the years, I know that I can convince myself, like, you are gonna do this. With the struggle and everything that went into it, it really embodies my style of skateboarding. I pushed myself and I'm stoked.
This is a giant stretch 25 on an amphitheater. Some people call the Smith the safety grind, but I don't think there's anything safe about Clive Dixon on this thing.
It's super dangerous. If you don't commit and you don't fully go for it, it could get really bad.
I imagine if I were to Smith grind that rail, and what would it take, and how scary would it be, and what would I have to go through mentally to prepare myself for that. And I know how gnarly it is to get yourself past the point where you're willing to put it all on the line, hit your tail, jump on the rail, and deal with the consequences. It's straight up, you know, Evel Knievel stuff.
I didn't really trip until I seen like the behind the scenes. Then it made me look at the actual like stairs, and then how high the rail was, and then like his passion. It was pretty dope. Like, it's up there, yo.
It's a giant rail. It's one of the biggest rails people skate, so you have to factor that in, and it's just pure danger. If it's like a best trick and there's a risk of death, like, that's pretty significant to me.
To kick off the contest with Clive's trick, I mean, that set the bar really high of what this whole thing's gonna be.
I hope we don't see anything as dangerous as this after this, but I have a feeling we will. Jack O'Grady, they call him Squish.
He's got like a kind of rail skater, goes big, but also a super spontaneous style.
Welcome back, it's your boy Gary Rogers. This is X Games Real Street Best Trick, the new one, it's new. Clive just started off heavy. He did, all right? There's no arguing ifs, ands, or buts about it. That was huge. The judges gave him a 90.66 because they had to. The man's put his life on the line, and he sacked that rail. Imagine sacking, right? And your feet about 4 or 5 feet off the ground, and you sack. Your family yabbas just hit and damaged, and you still roll away with a smile on your face, pumping fists and all types of stuff. Keep going. Next trick, please.
Jack O'Grady, they call him Squish. He's a Tasmanian devil out of Australia. He loves to scare himself. He loves to seek thrills. He's got a great attitude. He goes for it, and he's not being cautious.
He's got like a, you know, kind of rail skater, goes big, but also a super spontaneous style.
He's a real thrasher. I love Jack O'Grady. I can't wait to see what he does.
My name's Jack O'Grady, and I'm from Sydney, Australia. The story behind choosing this trick, I was in America. We went and sussed this rail in this church that a few people had tried or whatever, but no one's done. I don't know, I just thought it was like a different spot and sort of a rail that you don't normally see. So, I don't know, I was pretty keen to give it a whirl. I was just playing with it and like working out the rail, and like I tried it a few times, and maybe on like the 5th or 6th go I like got to the end or whatever and like surprised myself. You can't really tell, but when you first get onto the rail it's like one drop down and then it's a second drop down, but it's sort of like a little bit like parallel, so you sort of have to like hop a bit to the right, you know. That was like the most frustrating part, you know. I got maybe close to the bottom of a few of them, but it's pretty funny when it's just like you get really close like out of nowhere and then it takes you like a couple of hours, you know. but I'm pretty happy with what we got for the contest.
All right, so I've been to this spot. This spot is at a church. This spot is difficult for a variety of reasons. You've got extra kinks, you've got drops, you've got rust.
You know, I've been to that rail before that Jack grinds and we got kicked out. And then I've heard everybody that's ever been there has been kicked out. And you can see somebody in the background when he's riding away that you probably think he's getting kicked out as he's riding away.
I like the kink, and then grind, then ollie. I like those. I like, you know, stunt man.
Usually people will just go drop, 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 and that's it. But that just goes to show you how good he is.
Not only does the rail drop down, but it's kind of made janky. You got to aim from one rail to the next. So it was cool to see somebody finally do it.
Like, I'm not really risky like that. So I respect dudes that actually go for it, and I could sit back and watch it like a fan. But I also judged it on who else in the lineup can do that trick too. So I think there's people in the lineup that can do that.
So Jack is in second place with an 84. Suits him, right? Riley Hawk tried that rail. Tony Hawk's son, yes, you know. And Dane Berman, both of them didn't get it. Jack, new dude from Australia, a problem. He's actually beast. Like, he's already on fire. Look out for Jack O'Grady. Sounds like a good bean company. O'Grady's Beans. Jack O'Grady's like house bean, like chili. No? All right. Next is Philippe Mota. And when I tell you that the kids are fine and incredible, this is the definition for the future just being insanely too good.
Felipe, to me, is impressive. The bag of tricks that he has, you don't see that many 13 years old kid doing what he's doing. He's something else.
I'm Felipe Mota, I'm 13 years old, and I'm from Brazil. I've been skateboarding for like 6 years. I came to America like 1 year ago. The skateboarding here was way better than my city, you know? So the first opportunity, I came, you know? I was surprised when they asked me to be in this contest. I never think like I'm gonna be in X Games, you know? Big flip from board shove. I chose this trick because I feel that's a hard trick. Nobody done that trick before, so maybe that's a chance for me, you know? On that sesh, I warm up like first front board, second big spin front board, third heel flip front board, and I start big flip front board. If I get in one, I try the shove out, you know?
I'm excited to see what he's gonna be in a couple years, you know, what skateboarding gonna take him to, and you're gonna see how talented that kid is.
I'm happy for the trick, and it's a really big opportunity for me here, you know, like with the best skaters. I'm so happy for it.
Big flip front board shove. Did it absolutely perfect. I'm not a huge fan of over-technical tricks, and I think the combination of the technicality is not my favorite style of skating, but you can't argue with how flawlessly you did it.
So I'd say after seeing the third trick and compared to Clive and Jack, I did feel like this was a much safer rail. This is a lower rail, so you're able to try those tech tricks into it. I mean, especially with Clive, going back to him, it's like, that was a make it or break it situation, where this one, you can kind of fly into it, you can jump around, you can really test it, you can figure it out. This kid, what he's doing right now, I can't wait to see what he's doing over the next 5 and 10 years. If he's already doing this, he's gonna be one of the best out there.
You got plenty of years of domination ahead of you. This contest, it's not gonna be it. Excellent maneuver, it's not gonna be your time, I'm sorry.
It's good that he's there, but you know, let's see who's next.
I was really surprised to be invited to this contest. I think they asked me because they know I'm gonna bring probably something that other dudes wouldn't.
Welcome back to X Games Real Street Best Trick. You just watched Philippe Mota, who got a 76.33. I don't believe he's that young. I'm starting needing IDs before the tricks because the way he landed that, if you look at him, he didn't even smile. That's I gotta feed my kids type of boats. That precision is, I got a family back in Brazil, and if I don't land this, they won't eat. But right now, we got John D. Lorenzo. We just call him John D. Lo. We don't got time for all the Renzo stuff. It's too suave, and he's already too smooth, so it's like, he'd be like, I'm John D. Lorenzo. I don't want all that.
John DiLorenzo is one of my favorites to watch. His creativity is what makes it exciting to watch him in a video.
My name is John Dilo, and I'm from Jupiter, Florida. I was really surprised to be invited to this contest. I think they asked me because they know I'm gonna bring probably something that other dudes wouldn't. I had this trick in mind, and I didn't think I would get it in the time frame, given the deadline was so soon. I've always wanted to do a trick where I do a flip trick over something tall to manual and then go up over something else, but a spot like that doesn't really exist, so we've just had to build it. The trick I did was a switch heel flip manual, switch flip. Having that bank to roll in on and get the same speed every time was definitely helpful. The struggle with manual tricks is just, you don't want your tail or wheels to touch. It's just flawed, and you want to just have it perfect. You can get your foot touch on the manual and not even realize that you can play back the footage and like your wheel touched for a second. There's times where you just get into the switch manual and it might come once every 100 tries, and then you get to the end and you mess up. I've been at that schoolyard for hours trying tricks similar, nowhere near as hard as that one. Having patience is the name of the game. In the moment, you're kind of just holding your breath and just hoping that it works. Until you roll away and you play back the footage, you don't, it's not over.
This John DiLorenzo clip got me excited. The way that it was filmed to where I didn't know what was gonna happen at the end got me really stoked because I didn't see it coming.
He probably knew people were gonna be jumping, people were gonna be grinding rails, but he's got a special talent, the big flat ground pop and the manual maneuvers.
This is one of those tricks that I could see taking, days, weeks, and months to try to get.
Anybody that skate manuals know it's about dedication and it's about the next try. So I liked it. I thought it was creative.
Switch heel, table, to switch manual, to switch flip. I think it's unique.
Manuals can be thrilling, but it seems like it's more about control, stick-to-itiveness, that sort of thing. So for a best trick, I kind of lean more towards the action. I want something that gets you up off your feet screaming. This is a fantastic maneuver. I'd put it ahead of Felipe's, but maybe not Clive and Squish's.
Okay, wow. Okay, John, maybe I will give you the Renzo. Mr. DiLorenzo, you just put it down. That was heavy tech. The judges just gave you an 83.66. Who put the extra little thing at the end? Who was like, yo, put that down so I can switch from over it? That was just showing off at that point. Next, we got Alex Midler, the Kid La Midla. Probably gonna do something heavy, bro. He has not done one normal thing since quarantine started.
Alex Midler, this was the Orange County Wonderkind. He's come up through the ranks over the years. People have seen him flying high, grinding big bars, and especially eating complete crap for years.
He's willing to take the slams, and he always has been since he was a young kid. And if you're willing to take the slams, then you can just keep pushing.
My name is Alex Midler. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I think this contest is super unique because not knowing what everyone else is doing, you're kind of going into it blind. It's kind of hard to pick one thing and not know how it's going to stand out. I chose this trick just because it had barley grinds in mind for a little bit, and then this spot is just like the most perfect kink rail. It's a down, flat, down, flat, down. And there's a little flat at the end. It's really not too much you can do to prepare for that because, you know, it's a triple kink handrail, so I just kind of jumped straight into it. I was getting into it pretty frequently, but holding it down the whole way was pretty difficult. I ended up sacking the rail one time, like falling over to the dirt, so it was definitely a little bit of a battle. If like a spot or a trick is like beating you up, you definitely, for me, I don't want to lose that battle, so do whatever it takes to get through it. It probably took me about an hour, maybe a little more to do this one. Maybe 100 tries. Eventually one of them came through. I'm not too sure if this is the biggest barley grind that's ever been done. I mean, you never know. There's so many skaters out there, but it could be. I don't know. It could be. I'm definitely happy with that trick. I'm happy we get to put it out there with this. All my childhood growing up watching the X Games on TV, it'd be definitely amazing to get one of these medals for sure.
So with Alex's trick, I mean, this is the longest barley grind that I've ever seen done, I think ever has been done.
I like the barley grind, only because Barley's my man, and I remember when he did that, and people was like, what the hell is he doing? And then now to see it 20 years later, down a crazy rail to 180 out too, I thought that was pretty dope.
When you come off of this thing, you'll see he travels by this wall. That wall is actually a perfect 90-degree angle. If you go straight into it, it's like going into the head of an axe.
The way he held the switch smith was just so good.
I don't even know how that trick is done. I think that's a special muscle that you have to develop when you're learning those type of tricks, just to even hold it that long.
What the viewer at home might not understand, he's swinging around, he's going through these kinks backwards. So each one of those, you have to readjust your weight, you have to make sure the truck's on, and since he's going backwards, when you take a slam, you're backwards, ass over tea kettle, he could have died. Insane, I can't believe it.
Let's take a moment and watch it, and let's ponder the fact that this is probably one of the best frontside nollie heel flips ever done.
Welcome back, everybody, to X Games Real Street Best Trick, where 10 dudes submitted one trick to try to get that moolah and that gold chain. Everybody trying to look like Slick Rick in the early 80s. We just watched Alex Miller do a barley grind 180 through a triple kink and slide his way into first place with a 93.66. He is now above Clive Dixon and Jack O'Grady. Both of them got to move to second and third place like second and third is Michael Jordan, but you're not feeling like #1 because Alex is in it. I feel you. And next is Robert NEAL. See, I'm glad Johnny made me a judge. He would have won, I would have walked off. This would have walked off from, I love Alex Miller and Robert. Like, these are my guys. I'm so glad other people are doing this and I just do the announcing stuff.
Robert NEAL is stylish.
Super graceful, nice guy. Skating's amazing, super smooth, amazing pop, and just does everything he does really, really well.
My name is Robert NEAL, and I'm from Long Beach, California. It's no rules to skateboarding, so you feel me? We all have something to bring to the table. I don't want to be the best skateboarder. I would personally just like to perfect the tricks that I do have. And I'm into like style or just like, yeah, I'm gonna just say style. I love style. The trick I did was nollie front heel. I chose the trick that I did for this contest because I don't show it as much, but I like popping over things. I like skating high things, so I feel like that trick represents me. The spot, the pillar, it was high, so I knew I could challenge myself doing this trick that I'm pretty, I'm familiar with, and battle it out. Yeah, I knew I was gonna get over it. It's just timing. You gotta find the right timing. The spot wasn't easy. I'm
I don't want y'all to think this spot was easy. This is for sure the biggest nollie front hook I've done.
That's not a skate spot. You know what I mean? That thing's too big.
He can skate all sorts of stuff. So the fact that he had a flat ground trick was, you know, surprising, but I also like that there's a flat ground trick and it's probably the best frontside nollie heel flip anyone's ever done. That's worth something. Let's take a moment and watch it, and let's ponder the fact that this is probably one of the best frontside nollie heel flips ever done.
This thing's waist high, maybe chest high. Not a lot of people can do this. Wham, bam, he's over, he's on with his day, he's enjoying his life. That's the best trick contest for him. He's gonna do it his way, and you gotta admire that.
I like the tray flip in front of it because it gave it a sense of him just having fun skating.
He's just cruising, getting in his groove, and in his groove, did the frontside nollie heel flip. And just to zoom in on the shoes and all of it is like, it's perfect.
He did it legit, you feel me? But it still wasn't the best trick though.
Oh, so the judges just scored Robert a 79.66, which leaves him in 5th place. I don't care if you didn't fly down something. You gotta understand, skateboarding is hard to get in the air. It already ain't attached to your feet. Yeah, make it up as you go. 79.66 is what we doing. Look, hey, see y'all paying me something good. Nah, matter of fact, you know what?
Miles Willard, he's from back east. One of those stylish underground shredders, a lot of fans. He does it his own way, and I can't wait to see what he does.
My name is Miles Willard, and I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I don't normally do contests, but the style of this one's very different, so I'm stoked to be a part of it. I hope I can bring something different to the table and maybe inspire some creativity to any kids watching. But yeah, I did try to avoid a more traditional spot, I guess, and wanted to find something that I felt represented my skating and that I felt connected to. The trick I did is a switchback nose blunt on the hood of a car. With the rounded hood of the car, it makes locking into the trick different every time. Ideally, I wanted to go to switch because I feel like that trick looks better going to switch. For the contest, I think the one to regular because I felt that I did it better and it felt a little cleaner. I'm stoked on the trick I got because I feel that it represents me and my approach to skating. Not too often you get to skate a car, so I was happy to take advantage of that.
He's just cruising around the back alleys of Long Beach, minding his own business. He sees a lowly Miata abandoned.
It couldn't have worked out any better for a skate spot, and that's super unique. On some of the attempts, you could see when he was skating the spot that he was hanging up, and you really have to pop out of that and clear it on the spot, and that makes it really, really difficult.
I thought it was a backslide, nose ground backslide out, but it's the switch backside nose blunt slide. I didn't see it.
It's hard to put this next to all these handrail shenanigans and next to the power pop of Robert NEAL. This is kind of its own deal. But you know, there's a lot of fans out there that really love this kind of low-key, stylish vibe, and Miles Willard's gonna give it to him.
Skateboarding is an art, but when it comes to best tricks, that's when you single out everybody. Now it's not really like art form. Now you're talking about battling. And if you just want to play a game of horse, then anybody can lose in the game of horse. But if you're talking about best trick, then you gotta come with that heat, bro. Straight up. And that's singling out everybody.
Win or lose, this trick felt good, you know? That's what it's all about. That's what skateboarding is about to me. It's like, how does it feel when you roll away?
Welcome back. We just watched Miles Willard do his trick, which gave him a 74.66. It's not gonna cut it at all, even if it was a steak knife against melted butter. But hey, switchback nose blunt, very difficult trick. I'm not gonna cap. Like, it's just what's going on here, it's not the one. And that's fine, bro. It's, hey, this is new. We just started X Games Real Street Best Trick. This is brand new to you. You didn't know. Shh. So Alex Miller's still in the top spot, as it should be. But next we got Chris Weimer, and if he wants to get any type of medal, he needs like an 84. You want something on your neck besides a rash? I'm not saying Chris has a rash, I'm saying he needs a medal, and we put it, play the clip.
Chris Weimer is one of my favorite skaters out right now. The way that he skates, the pop that he has, like the style, like he just, I mean, he skates fast. I'm a huge fan of that guy.
My name's Chris Weimer. I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia. I chose my trick based off, you know, the spot. It's an iconic spot that a lot of people have skated over the years. HEATH, KIRCHART, obviously, like, put UCI on the map, like Jamie Thomas has got there, Brian Anderson got there, you know, so many different people that everyone in skating looks up to. With picking a spot that's been killed over the years, you know, it's kind of hard to think of a trick that hasn't been done, first of all, but then also a trick that could even compare to a lot of other tricks that have been done over time, you know. When we got to the spot, initially, warm-up tricks that I did were, you know, just like a backside Smith grind, which led up to the kickflip backside Smith grind. Kind of was like a good tester to see if it was gonna work or not, you know. To land the trick was actually kind of surprising. It was only 7 tries, which kind of came as a shock to me, you know, because I was going to that spot expecting like a battle, you know. Yeah, I was completely surprised. It just felt like you're on one of those missions that you've always watched in the videos, you know what I mean? So I think that kind of like had some sentimental value to me, and then just the fact that the trick worked out in general was just like the icing on the cake, you know what I mean? It was a very like surreal moment for me.
It's the skill, the talent, and the courage it takes to execute. And, you know, to see Weimer's trick done that well, you know, he rides for our team, but no bias, it was perfect.
A lot of your older fans will remember that Brian Anderson first did the backside Smith here some 20 years ago.
So 20 years later, it's been kickflip back Smith. That's how crazy this spot is. You know, that it took 20 years to get to that next level.
When you have a location that people are familiar with, when you do something there, everything is compared to what's been done there before.
To see all of the tricks that's been done on there. Kickflip back Smith is dope, but it ain't that heat though. I don't think so. Kickflip back Smith back 780 out, then people will be talking.
Is this the best trick ever done there? I don't know. It's awful good.
I don't think he necessarily upped the ante so much greater than what everyone else has done there. I just think the way he did it was so flawless.
So Chris Weimer just came back with his trick, and the judges gave him a 86.66, knocking Jack O'Grady right off the chain list. He is no longer in the chain game. Chris Weimer's up there on the podium now. Next, we're gonna move on to the legendary Ryan Sheckler, who is literally in his 17th year of X Games. He's the oldest person in this. Ryan Sheckler's an OG. Like, Ryan Sheckler's like, yeah, Ryan gang. Just throw up R's or something. Yeah, that's him, bro. He's the OG now. Wow.
Ryan is one of those guys that skates sort of life and death spots at a level that is just psycho. He's a psychopath. Throughout his career, he's always pushed the boundaries of what's possible on a skateboard. I am Ryan Sheckler, and I'm from San Clemente, California. For this contest, I wanted to skate a ditch. You know, I wanted to skate this ditch. I've seen it before in videos, and the cool thing about skateboarding is like, you'll see something and you'll be like, oh, that was cool. And then you'll go to it in person, and then you'll be like, how in the world did he do that trick? It might look super easy on camera, but then you get there and it's like the hardest spot to skate. There's a reason only 5 or 10 people skated it. You know, it's not that it's like hard to find, it's hard to skate. I like came here with the intention of I'm gonna skate it. So like no matter what, I gotta figure out how to get speed for this thing and I'm gonna skate it. The fantasy trick is back 3. Just sail a backside 360 over this thing. So when we got here, I realized there's no way to like push down and get enough speed to like carve in and hit it. So I was really actually stoked that we brought the bungee. It takes like 2 or 3 people to like string this thing out. And then once you get to the end point and they let go, it's a rocket ship. Started playing around with it, got the ollie in like the 2nd try, and then like really had a good feel for how it was gonna launch me, and then just started going for it. That's normally how I address a spot. I just kind of get there, know what trick I have in mind, and instantly just start going for it. All I was thinking about was just do not clip my heels on the fence. because you're going backside, and the second you get backside, it's blind. And you know, you hit your heels, it doesn't end well. Thank God I didn't have any of those scares. It was more of the battle of just like figuring out how to roll away from it because it's so much impact. This contest came around at the perfect time. You know, I'm at this point in my career where I'm super focused on street skating. I've already been like filming for my Red Bull video part, and it takes a second to get into that street mode where you're just like, okay, I'm going out every week and I'm gonna film, and then, you know, I got asked to do this and I was like, that's what I'm doing, so let's go do it. And after a solid battle, we rolled away, so stoked. I don't know who's in the contest. Even if I did know who's in the contest, I can't worry about what they're doing. You know, like win or lose, this trick felt good, you know? That's what it's all about. That's what skateboarding's about to me. It's like, how does it feel when you roll away? And when I rolled away, I felt good. So that's enough for me.
For him to back three over this fence at a spot that, you know, only a few people have skated, you know, it's super difficult.
Yeah, that's my dog, Ryan Sheckler. He made me proud with that one. 360 out. I thought it was dope. I thought it was dope.
To huck over a fence, and you can get disoriented, you can lose your pop, you know, you could get tangled up on that trick. So the trick itself is, you know, amazing.
So when I noticed that Ryan was using the bungee, I had mixed feelings about that. You know, I mean, one, you're not pushing into it, you're not doing it, I guess, you know, the way that other people have skated that spot, but you're flying and you still have to do the trick.
Is it cheating? I don't know. He makes the rules, but I wasn't as impressed with it given the bungee cord.
He got his homies helping him. Like, who ain't never skated like that? Like, I want a 360, I need y'all help. So it's a collective thing. He couldn't have did it without his homies.
At the end of Ryan's clip, he rolls away and he pushes off. I'll call that the push of victory. And I've seen that a lot. The filmer was stoked, the bungee homies were stoked, like Ryan was just pushing off into the sunset.
This is the first time this has ever happened, just like one banger trick in the streets, you know? I think it's one of my favorite tricks I've ever done in the streets, ever.
Welcome back, everybody, to X Games Real Street Best Trick, where 10 dudes submitted one to try to get an X Games gold medal. And right now, we got Alex Midler holding on to first place, Clive Dixon in second, and Ryan Sheckler just came in with an 88.33, which served him right. He did a bungee to back three over a fence. But next, we have literally the Grim Reaper of skate contests, the worst dude to ever be going last behind you ever at any point in time, Nyjah Huston. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I just want to apologize in advance because it just can't be good in the best way.
I've been watching Nyjah grow from a little kid to who he is now, and you know, he was the gnarliest little kid that there has ever been. Most people felt that Nyjah was gonna grow into the savage he is now, but I don't think anyone had an idea of how far he was actually gonna take it.
He's one of the greatest stunt skaters of all time. He wins all the contests. He grinds the biggest rails. He does all the biggest, gnarliest tricks. There's never been another skateboarder like Nyjah Huston.
The stuff he continues to do it's mind-blowing. In my mind, there are a lot of things that he does where he is probably the only human on the planet that can do it.
I'm Nyjah Huston, I'm from Davis, California. Obviously, I've won a ton of X Games medals before. I think it was 12 now total. Most of those being the street contests. And those are still amazing to win, don't get me wrong, but it's always sick to participate in something new like this, and that's why I was down to do it. And this is the first time this has ever happened, just like one banger trick in the streets, you know? It's really like, who's willing to give up one of their best tricks? Just the fact that it's street skating, the fact that it's one of my favorite tricks I've ever done in the streets, ever. I'd be so hyped to get the win. The trick I chose for this contest, cab, backside nose, blunt to fakie, really been getting them down throughout like the past year. Did one down my big park hubba. And then after that, I was like, dude, I'm ready. And like, I knew Clipper was the spot for this trick. Clipper Ledge in San Francisco is one of the most legendary spots in the world. I used to watch people skate Clipper and all the videos I watched growing up. The spot wasn't skatable for a while, a few years, and then I actually got word that it only needed a couple little things done to it to be skatable again. I thought the whole thing was gone, and you already know we had to make the mission up there and make it skatable again. Solid. Rolled up a few times, getting hyped up. The homie's there. We got the boombox there, playing some music. We're ready to go, and just start trying it. You know, I think the first few kind of kicked out, put my foot on the hubba, jumped off. Kind of took some bodies on some of those because this is a pretty big drop. The battle, that's part of skateboarding right there. I live for that. Makes rolling away from that trick so much more rewarding and just so much more real, you know? Like, that's what we're out there doing, that's what we work for, is that feeling of rolling away from a trick. Locked into probably like, saw like 15 of them, 15, 20 before I even tried to put one down. The hard thing about this trick is like, it's not just locking in, especially when it's on a steep obstacle like that. Like, you really got to get above it. I was locking in good, but my body position wasn't like up on the hubba enough to really like take one off. And that's why I was just taking my time, not rushing and not trying to put ones down that I felt like I didn't need to. And then I'm stoked I waited because literally the first one I put down, I rolled away from, and yeah, that's how it went. Rolling away from a trick like that on a legendary spot, like it means a lot, you know? That trick, that's been on my mind for so long. I have to go get it done. I have to go at least like battle out and try it, or those tricks are just gonna be on my mind, like torturing me, you know? Like I think about stuff like that like every night before I go to sleep. The only way to really get that off your mind is just to go. You gotta go make it happen. You gotta go work for it.
I had heard rumors that this went down, and I was still blown away when I saw it.
It's not 180 into it, it's 270 into the trick. The backside nose blunt on that soft edge where you can slip off or slide into the middle.
The ledge is kind of rounded, so it's kind of hard to find the edge sometimes. You know, and I watched that. Like, he falls out of back nose blunt by 1/2 inch for about 2 inches. But other than that, it was as perfect as it could be done. It was like a video game come to life.
This is probably the most famous spot in this contest, and he did the hardest trick on that spot.
I think that Nyjah can do every trick that was done in the lineup except for maybe the switch heel flip and the angle switch kick flip over the table. And maybe the nollie half cab heel flip, like the street crazy ones. But all of the big bangers, I think Nyjah could do it, yo. I really do. But I don't think anybody on that lineup can do that, though.
Nyjah's trick might be the heaviest one in this contest, but I also think it might be the heaviest trick that I've seen all year in skateboarding so far.
That was it. Yeah, that was it.
So that's it. We didn't watch actual skateboarding go down in the streets as it should. See, I like when they lock them in the building to make them like compete on those made skate parks, but when they take them outside to do what we really do, it's good. Whether it be Clive backsmithing where your genitals will never forgive you, or okay, can I not say that on television? Okay. So that's it, y'all. We just watched skateboarding go actually in the streets as it should. That's why I love Real Street, man. It goes outside. It may be all production in the buildings or whatever, but when they do this is pure. This is a good idea. We should do this. This should happen. I like this. One crazy ass trick for everybody. I like it. Whether it be John D-Lo heavy tech, or a baby Brazilian flipping, shoving, or Clive Dixon deciding that being safe isn't the idea. It is not. It could be, but it's not. Or Chris Weimer getting as pinnacle as possible on UCI. Or Robert Neal going as high up as the UCI hubba from flat ground and catching it Chapter, the most beautiful flat ground tray flip to set up the entire scene, bro. Or Ryan Sheckler, who did a back 3 over a fence. Jack O'Grady, he's lost his mind and he's pale as a dog. There's no sun in Australia. Or Midler, barley grinding through a triple kink, 180ing out before a sharp wall where he could have nicked his ankle and got a sharp bite from, well, wherever Nyjah Huston's from when he gets in contest mode. That's where that shark bite would have came from. So the scores are in, and Nyjah Huston just received a 97.33 first place. I mean, hey, full cat back, nose blunt down clipper, you gotta give it to him. Alex Midler will go home with the silver thing as he did a barley grind down a triple kink, all right? And Clive Dixon takes home bronze with that front Smith from I don't care about nothing but trying to land tricks. That's what it is. That's the order. So thank you, everybody. I would like to wrap up what was actually history and a really good idea to do best tricks in the street. I mean, the contests, they cool or whatever, but when you take it to where it's from, it makes it beautiful. We got to do this again. I want to see whatever flat ground thing Robert Neal could do, because it's, hey, fly over something. Actually, put Felipe in the way. Make him go over him. I want to dedicate this entire thing to Vincent Nava, who we lost tragically recently. An amazing skateboarder, amazing kid, amazing person. May you rest in peace. We got your board hanging right there, bro. The whole world about to see you, man. Look down on your boy, because you know I be tripping. Love you, Vincent.